Morning. You, you good? Plain sight. You alright? Oh, your mic's not working.
Oh, it's not working at all? Hold on real quick. Hold on a second. Let's swap out. I guess these headphones just not working. Hold up. There we go. You hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, but I
I
guess I'm
thought you.
headphones.
I thought you had lost your voice. I know you heard. Had talked about. Your voice was going out.
No, yeah, I'm good now. To some degree, I got some water here. I'm not even gonna advertise the brand because it's trash water, but I got water. So let me crack that open right quick. Let me get into it. All right. Oh yeah. My previous question was, you want to hit the disclaimer? You want me to hit the disclaimer? What it is?
I guess we don't have a formal disclaimer, so
You know
this
the premise.
this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. If you seek legal advice, we recommend that you search for an attorney. We are not your counsel, and we do not what's the best word, represent you in any form or fashion. If this is just for information, educational purposes only. Everything that we do and say, we are not held liable for any actions that you may take. You are on your own. This is just for entertainment and educational purposes only. Do with the information what you will. If anything, any term you do not understand or you would like to understand further, we suggest you research, contact the judge, or contact the court clerk. So if you actually want, like I said, advice, seek counsel.
Hey, can I add an addendum to that?
Yes.
Only to say that all this information that we provide is backed by factual legal writings, and if you have any inquiry that you're just like if you're interested in pursuing further and higher education, please feel free to reach out and contact us just to ask some questions. We're available.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what people. I really want to pick some brains, but don't go into court,
saying we told you.
Exactly. Don't do that.
I don't tell you anything. At the same time, I will say that I have counseled some people who are of the attorney profession. So I might not. What we say is not your counsel or is not representative of you. We do not represent you, but at the same time, we are free to and here to be asked questions of.
We are available for further pursuits of further intellectual pursuit, but don't jump in the court saying. Don't jump in the court saying Hidden Black's Law told you X, Y, or Z. All right. With that being said, hey, you know what time it is. I'm going to hit them with it. It's Hell versus Hinkle. You know how we open it. Check it out. Hell versus Hinkle. That's a 201 U.S. 43. This is a case from 1906. Hell versus Hinkle was decided by the United States Supreme Court in 1906. The opinion of the court states, the individual may stand upon his constitutional rights as a citizen. He's entitled to carry on his private business in his own way. His power to contract is unlimited. He owes no duty to the state or to his neighbors to divulge his business or open his doors to an investigation, so far as it may tend to incriminate him. He owes no duty to the state since he receives nothing therefrom beyond the protection of his life and property. His rights are such as existed by the law of the land, i.e., common law, long antecedent, long before the organization of the state, and can only be taken from him by due process of law, i.e., jury trial, if you want to go that far, and in accordance with the Constitution. He owes nothing to the public so long as he does not trespass upon their rights. So know yours.
I would say go ahead and read that second part because it's going to pertain to what we're doing and what we're going over today.
Word, I got you. All right, bet. Further reference there. Hale versus Hinkle is binding on all courts of the United States of America until another Supreme Court case says it isn't. No other Supreme Court case has ever overturned Hale versus Hinkle. None of the various issues of Hale versus Hinkle has ever been overruled since 1906. Hale versus Hinkle has been cited by the federal and state appellate court systems over 1,600 times at this rate, closer to 2,000, if not over 2,000 times. In nearly every instance in which a case is cited, it has impacted on precedent authority of the cited case. It is ruled over everything it's ever been brought into. Compared with other previously decided Supreme Court cases, no other case has surpassed Hale versus Hinkle in the number of times it has been cited by the courts, most cited case of all time. The rights of the individual are restricted only to the extent that they have been voluntarily surrendered by the citizenship to the agencies of the government. Super important last part. That was the end. Matter of fact, let me say it one more time. The rights of the individuals are restricted only to the extent that they have been voluntarily surrendered by the citizenship to the agencies of government. So only to whichever extent you're willing to cough them up, your rights go into government hands of your own volition. That's me paraphrasing.
Is it on there the other part there where people are coerced into believing things are law that are not?
That's not attached to this particular the one that we have here outlined, but I know exactly what you're speaking of.
Actually, I know it is okay. That's Abrams versus Sims.
Yeah. That's that. Yep.
It's Abrams versus Sims. Because of what appears to be a lawful command on the surface, many citizens, because of their respect for what appears to be the law, are cunningly coerced into waiving their rights to due process due to ignorance. So there you go. In Sims versus Abrams, they said that most people give up their rights because they are coerced into believing that color of law is the law, and it's two different things.
Hey, it is up to you to decide whether state action has any ruling over your life. The courts say it.
Yes, and state action, the definition of state action is anything done by a state, anything done by a government, anything done by a government, and it is synonymous with color of law.
Dang. Hey, to get further into that, do you want to discuss? Hey, man, since we've been here, all we've ever been telling you is the government has one particular jurisdiction in your life as far as times when they have quantitative authority. As maritime, admiralty, commercial, business, monetary,
mercantile.
Mm-hmm. Those that's the only time.
That goes into the policies that are enacted
policy
that are present today, which are the mask mandates, as they say.
That was actually funny. I mean, I dealt with that the other day. But go ahead if you want to say more.
Yeah, the mask mandates are literally for the companies themselves to enforce. They cannot make people put on masks. They can advise you. They can do everything to make sure that it is hard for you to go and do things in your everyday life, but they can't force you to.
Hey,
And any mask mandate is done only to the companies themselves, and the companies themselves, if you notice, they are the ones that enforce the mask mandates. It's not the federal government, because they cannot tell anyone they have to wear a mask.
hey, let me just say one thing about the word mandate. It's a falsely presumption of authoritative, because if you ever go inside, and they'll make a disclaimer about the mask mandate, but if you ever look at any of the signage outside of these establishments, what you're going to see is it says the CDC recommends X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Every time, every establishment, they're going to enforce it with the color of authority, because a government said a thing, but that's purely opinion.
Yeah, so always be aware of all words matter. As we always say, all words matter. That's it for that. We're just delving that to get that understood or comprehended. If you want to, let's go ahead and keep going on the or what our main topic and main focus is.
So we are discussing constitutionality as a entire premise today.
Yes, we're constitutionality, constitution, law. We're discussing law. We're not going to get into statutes per se. We're not going to get into policies of the state. We are going to pretty much try to stick to the Constitution and the rights that the Constitution upholds, and that is the most that is highly not understood by the majority of the people of the United States. They think that America, for one, it's called the United States, and it's not called the United States of America. It's called the United States. The United States of America. America is the business aspect of the United States. The best way to clarify this is, or so you can kind of get a grasp of it, is what I'm going to try to attempt to do. United States are territories, right, that are connected. They are states united. Now we also have territories that we are in control of, that America is in control of. They'll even say that. We have the United States and we have territories that America is in control of. So America is in control of Puerto Rico, that's supposed to get $4 billion right now for because of the pandemic and everything else, so they can get their statehood back up in order. And a lot of people I saw are upset that Puerto Rico is getting money from the United States, because they don't understand that Puerto Rico is part of America.
Territories. Oh, you know which one always gets crapped on? Samoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even Hawaii itself. Samoa.
Well,
we have various territories.
Yes,
and
territories.
People are not aware.
You have to understand a territory is those things underneath America. That's the business aspect of America. They are in control of. Their controlling interest is in this territory.
I'm sorry. Let me claim it correctly. So apparently, the correct claimant of the territory is American Samoa.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to be correct.
Yes, the proper terminology is American Samoa. So when you have the Congress, which is in charge of the business aspect of the United States, giving money to a territory or sending money to a territory, because they are part of America. Now, like I said, America is the business aspect. That's why it can have controlling portion over there. The United States is the states united, or the territories united. They are connected in a business. The United States just states united. I can't even put it. I can't even make it any simpler than that.
Hey, you know what's funny about that? Here I am. I'm just checking out, looking at the Smithsonian, and they, I like how they word it. Basically, it's an unincorporated territory of the United States. So I think that's the general distinction between the states themselves and the territories. The territories are unincorporated. However, they have that relation with the larger body that they are so attached.
And unincorporated means that they are not a municipality. They're not a corporation. So you are not incorporated. You are not a corporation. Unincorporated, that's what that means. You are not a corporation. It's not. They don't have a corporation interest in the United States of America. They are just controlled by.
They're not raising funds on behalf of the states within policies of their own territory. They're allowed to rule as they so please in their own leisure because their culture is to be preserved. However, they are still noted as a territory of the grander United States.
Yes, 300 Xerxes. You can keep your lands.
Do as you please.
Do as you please. You just have to make sure
all I ask
is that you kneel. So that's the legal aspect of it. And the Constitution only upholds rights of men and women. It does not give rights to men and women.
It grants nothing.
It grants nothing. That's, I think, is the grand misconception that a lot of people of the United States do not comprehend.
I think that could honestly be.
It can't give you something that you already had. It can only uphold it because, as they say in it, they're God-given rights. They can't.
There we go.
Unless you're trying to say the United States of America supersedes God, it doesn't work out.
And I think that should be the underpinning aspect of this particular cast. The United States grants no rights to no man. It only acknowledges what is God-given.
Yes, and it upholds them. So whenever you are in a battle or some kind of controversy, those things that are God-given are not up for dispute. Cannot be. There's no argument about things, and that's where you have to get into your mind. You can't argue about rights. Rights are God-given. No government can take them away. No government can give them because they are not God. And unless you're trying to say they are God, well then, I don't know what kind of argument we use. It's not going to hold up in any courtroom, but that's that.
That would be the supreme rule of ignorance, to be as far as I could situate it. So, actually, give me 5 seconds. I'm looking at my Black's Law Dictionary 9th edition. I need to grab it for further context into things we're about to do.
Okay,
so give me 1 moment. If you got anything else to say, you got about 15 seconds while I get that.
I was right now. What we're going to get into is how the practical application of that goes into effect when dealing with law versus legal, because they are not the same thing. Law will always be defined as law. The legal system, because it's the legal system, will always be defined as legal system. And they will even say law, but you have to understand what form of law they're talking about, because there are two yin and yangs, as you would say, when it comes to the law and how things work.
Okay, so hey, correct me if I'm off base in asserting it in this fashion, but it is my to my knowledge, the idea of law is involving human rights, whereas legal is mercantile policies of the governing system, and they are not. They're in contradistinction. You can clarify if I'm a little gray.
Yeah, it is a little law. Law, as they say, if you are, common law and law that actually is for humans, is tangible. Law of facts. It has to be factual. It has to be able to be presented in a courtroom. It has to be something that physically is accountable. You can physically be held accountable for. Commerce and those things come into policy of what you can do. They don't have to be tangible. They are more so the figment of imagination. They are things of the mind and mind only. So that's how you can be. What's the best word is? You can have an assault without actually touching someone in commerce, because there's no actual physical harm. Assault is just, they didn't agree with the wording of what you said, or it caused them feelings of discomfort.
Perceived as a threat.
Perceived as a threat, yes. In law, there has to be a corpus delicti. There has to be an injured party. You can't injure somebody by just telling them you don't like them. That's not an injury. That's just a feeling. So unless there is something of controversy that can be tangibly disputed, like you broke my car door mirror, or you knocked over my mailbox, or you hit me, you broke my leg. Those things are physical corpus delicti. There's someone that has been injured, or you crashed into my building.
Yeah, whoever traded paint with my car without notice and tried to slip off. I was just talking about that last night with Google.
Yes,
yeah, man.
That is an injured party. That is a corpus delicti. That is an injury to a party. That is a mandatory for the law. It is not mandatory for commerce law or business law or things. Those are things you can break a con. Well, there's still an injury to a party with those. It depends. Like you said, it's more so a figment of mind. You can't actually. It's not tangible on 99.9% of times.
So, you know what? I got a definition here. It's already written in the. I guess it's like an abridged definition. I don't know if you want to get into this at all. I mean, it's funny because actually, and it's super funny now that I think about it, because I already just repeated and recited Hale versus Henkel, and it's like so already like at the ready, all the information I just stated. I see here we were supposed to clarify the meaning of a citizen, because that will kind of help you
if you
further flesh out the idea of constitutionality.
Yeah, ninth edition is the one we're supposed to be using. So go ahead.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm not even gonna read that abridged when I jotted in the notes. Here we are. Citizen. And an important word coming off the break for you. I'm sure Google will catch it right away. A person who. Mm-hmm.
Go keep on. Sorry.
Immediately. You're good. You got it. By either birth or naturalization is a member of a political community. This gets interesting about the word. Owing allegiance to the community and being entitled to enjoy all of its civil rights and protections. A member of the civil state, entitled to all of its privileges. Yep,
but that's in that exactly, that's in direct contrast to Hale versus Henkel. So
it says, a person who enjoys the privileges.
It does say
because what are they always trying to take? They're always trying to take your privileges. That's why they tell you driving is a privilege. They don't tell you traveling is a right. That would be goofy. How would they try to enforce a means of taking it from you? They tell you driving is a privilege. Talk to any police officer. That's policy enforcer. If you translate, that's always what they will say to you whenever it comes to discussing the idea of driving.
Yet that by law, no man or woman can be diseased of their rights or privileges without a jury. So
without jury trial.
But there's definitions of words. I said man and woman. You said citizen. Two different things. Mm-hmm. And that you said citizen has an allegiance. Well, how are you supposed to have allegiance to a government? Then you don't have allegiance to God, because you're supposed to be able to have allegiance to God. That's supposed to be who your allegiance is to. So now you're saying that you are pledging your allegiance not to the republic anymore, because the republic says, "I pledge allegiance to the republic which it stands." You are not pledging the republic
under
says,
God.
Under God. Well, this says you're pledging allegiance to a government. So
see, that's why I made that point about law versus legal. I just wanted to make sure I made that we got it all in there.
Distinction, so you understand that all words matter. On one hand, one says man and woman pledge allegiance to a republic, one nation under God, and then the other one says pledge allegiance to a government. So it's depending upon what you're trying to be. If you want to be a citizen, go ahead.
I think you just helped me make it more simple. Do you want God-given rights or man-made privileges? That's literally
that's the distinction between being
law and legal,
Yes. Legal is always privileges. By definition, legal is privileges. It's not rights.
That's why it's funny, because that's why if you keep reading into all this governmental policy we keep talking about, what do they try to turn you into? They try to turn you into what are corporations? They're commercial entities that used what do they use? The same thing that they use to make white women minorities. They use that same give me the doctrine. What do they use? Anyway, basically they want to make you persons, commercial persons. They don't want to make you God created men and women. They want to turn you into persons, because personhood is what makes corporations have pseudo standing in reality.
In reality, yes,
they're really paper entities trying to bridge themselves into three-dimensional reality, and personhood is literally the conduit or vehicle, to use their language, by which they do it.
Person, by definition, is an artificial entity.
Hey, yeah, well, I got the Black's Law Dictionary, 9th edition, right here with me. I got a little time.
Man, what kind of word gymnastics are they going to use?
I'm listening. Yeah, this is interesting, actually.
I have the old school version, which just plainly states it, and you have the new school, which you're going to have 101 words.
Have a little razzle dazzle in it.
It has 101 words to say one word.
And here we are. Permit.
I hope they don't do like some other ones.
I'm in the neighborhood. I found it. Oh.
I'll just say this. I hope they don't use the definition. They don't use the word to define the word.
Hey, you might want to break out that 4th edition. Are you ready for this one? Because they're not incorrect, but it's funny. It's like judges. Judges won't necessarily tell the truth, but if you ask them and you direct a question their way, they'll never lie to you. So this is what Black's Law Dictionary 9th edition is attempting to do. Person, 13C. Now they quote it as one human being, also termed natural person, because see, that's them using that policy language to get you away, because they do try to claim that humans are known as natural persons, because they try to call corporations artificial persons, to create that bridge to allow the two to interact with each other, where they do not have that standing to do so. If you understand real law versus legal, if you understand this language to its utmost, these two things cannot conflate, but they've created a bridge.
Yeah, normally I would go get the dictionary, but I don't want to get into that. We've already said this like a million times. I don't know how. This is like probably the 20.
Hey, we're going into month 7. We're going into this. We've done 6 full months. Like from the 3rd of January.
And we said it pretty much every single time. So for 7 months, I'm not trying to say the same thing for 7 months.
We're half the year in. If you don't understand this by now, I don't know why you're here. But anyway.
But yeah, so we're trying to get all this in because we have a case that we're trying to go over for you real quick, just so we
you want me to just jump into the matter? I can just go ahead. I mean, because we're here facilitating, but this one will have to be read to you word by word. So what I'm gonna do is real quick. I was trying to see if I can tell you the source of the article right now. It comes from the Atlanta Black Star. So if you're in the if you're feeling particularly studious and academic, feel free to look this up. It's an article by Naira Savage from February 9th, 2001. So I'll read out the title aloud. Let me see if maybe you can see. Oh, it took it out. Hold on, let me see if you can see this article. Can you? Oh no, maybe not. It's probably a little too bright. Okay, never mind. It's all white, so you can't see it. All right, so here it is. So they give you a quote from the official who said so, and then yours too. Yeah. Oh, maybe. There it is. Starting to get some text there. All right, so here's the little quotation from the beginning of it.
There it is.
Police officers are in the habit of being obeyed. Court rules deputies violated black man's constitutional rights when they arrested him because he wouldn't show ID. And man, if you've been anywhere in any circles, you know this is the type of stuff that certain people who like to call themselves conservatives say that you should be.
No,
I say call themselves.
Okay.
I say call themselves.
Okay.
They are not. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So this is the type of stuff that certain pretenders like to say you should be violated over. Important word there, violated. But we'll get into that.
Say Republicans. Let's put it that way.
Or GOP.
Or actually, Republicans or Democrats. It just depends upon their standing of how they feel about individuals who use their rights on an everyday basis, as opposed to those who would rather subject themselves to privileges.
Yeah, they assume that's that false presumption of law where they treat you like everything you're doing is underneath the auspices of your taking on privileges from the state. So they treat you like a child.
Yeah.
Maybe you know better, maybe you don't. That's how they're going to treat you. So here we are into the article. It's a quick 3-minute read, so bear with me if you're not a fan of my voice. A federal appeals court ruled Thursday that Virginia's Sheriff's Department deputies violated a black man's constitutional rights when they arrested him in April 2017 for refusing to identify himself. On February 4th, the 4th United States Circuit Court of Appeals partially overturned a lower court's ruling that held that the arrest of George Wingate by Stafford County deputies was legitimate. The deputies invoked a local statute that requires people to show identifications to authorities for reasons involving public safety. But Chief Judge Roger Gregory wrote in Thursday's unanimous decision that the factors that led deputies to suspect Wingate of criminal activity were, quote unquote, not enough to warrant requiring him to show identification. Early in the morning of April 14, 2017, when the then 28-year-old Wingate was working as a rideshare driver, he pulled over to the side of a road on Jefferson Davis Road at 2 a.m. after his check engine light came on. He looked under the hood of his car with a flashlight to see if anything was wrong. Finding nothing evidently amiss, he left the car hood up and the engine running and re-entered the car to try to diagnose the problem using the Auto Doctor application on his smartphone, according to Wingate's brief filed with the Fourth Circuit Court.
Yeah, I use Auto Doctor too sometimes.
Word, I need to actually look into that app. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm trying to take care of my car, so I'm hip now. A deputy pulled up behind Wingate and asked if he needed help. Wingate declined. When Deputy Scott Fulford asked Wingate to show identification, the situation escalated. All right, that was already baseless. Here we go. Fulford later said that he became suspicious of Wingate because he was wearing dark clothing and stepped out of his vehicle when he pulled up.
Dark clothing makes you a criminal now.
Fulford also said there had been thefts in the area. Right. A dash camera captured the exchange between Wingate and Fulford. Am I free to go? Well, Wingate asked. No, Deputy Fulford responded. Am I being detained? Wingate asked. If I'm not being detained, then I'm free to go, Wingate said. "You're not free to go until you identify yourself to me," said Fulford. When Wingate refused to show identification, Fulford called for backup. Fulford and another deputy arrested Wingate. Criminal charges were later dropped because there were none. "Police officers are in the habit of being obeyed," said Wingate's attorney, Victor Glassberg, "and sometimes they don't take it very well when they're not." That's what got him riled up. In 2018, Wingate filed a federal suit in Alexandria against Fulford. He went to the top, the tippity top, alleging his arrest for refusing to show identification violates his Fourth Amendment rights. Lieutenants Demas Pinson and the second deputy involved in Wingate's arrest was later added as a defendant. The court ruled the deputy's actions were reasonable under the circumstances. On Thursday, the three-judge panel overturned the ruling and sent the case back to the lower court. The deputy first began to suspect criminal activity when a man that he intended to help approached him in dark clothing. But he approached anyway. So that's not enough, Gregory wrote in the decision. He lied off the break. Yeah. Stafford County Commonwealth's attorney Eric Olson said the decision does not invalidate the law requiring citizens to show authorities identification if it is warranted by public safety concerns. That's the statute they tried to invoke. It's not clear if the ruling will permit Wingate to seek damages against the deputies, though it should. According to the judges, the deputies are at least partially immune from being sued because they took action under the good faith belief that the statute permitted them to require Wingate to show identification. Another instance of qualified immunity, aka imaginary immunity, does not exist.
Yes. So then, like you were just saying, plain sight, judges, when asked directly, will tell you the truth. They will try to make things, and depending upon what form they're trying to do it, if they're doing it as magistrate or as a judge, they will use different terminology. If they are doing it as a magistrate, they will use words to help out whichever that legal system, because that's what they're in. As a judge, they will say something totally different.
They'll make matters palatable to agents of the state in a matter, because it's more like a friendly, they're on a certain terminology. They want to keep things
a friendly handshake. That's a friendly handshake, and that's what the judge did when he said partially. He said partially due to in good faith statute, and by saying partially, he admitted that yes, they can under good faith, which happens under the legal system. But also, they cannot if they do it under the law, which would have them, because they caused injury to a party. So now they can be held liable because now they have damages. They damage someone else. They hurt someone physically.
Judges will glad hand between jurisdictions. If they feel like the governmental policy will prevail, they won't get in the way of said policy. However, if the policy is challenged by a mind who is capable of presenting the argument in a fashion the judge cannot refute, the judge will change up their wording and then accommodate the law to its necessity and the policy to the best of their ability.
Yes, the law always comes first. That's why he took it to. And that's also why you see why he went to a federal court. He did not go to a state court, because under state courts he would receive no remedy, because state operates under statute.
Mm-hmm. That's that whole states' rights thing.
Yes.
If you can't, and then you'd be combating the state's ability to make their claims onto their own territory. But their territory is actually more largely in the domain of the federal government whenever you call into the highest ability of scrutinizing law.
States are always subsidiaries of the federal government. They are subsidiaries. They are not acting as their own because they are municipalities. Municipalities is a corporation, a business. And what does the United States control? Well,
maritime, admiralty, mercantile, commercial, however many ways you can say it, business.
Constitution for the United States of America, Article 1, Article 3, Section 2 specifically tells you that. So there it is.
Sorry. This particular cast, although it seemed innocuous when we were first going over it, I'm just, as I listen to us discuss these matters, I'm highlighting this. This needs to be shared, so I'm sharing it now. Let's continue going forward. Yeah, so with that, there's a particular matter of constitutionality that you now have outlined in front of you to study at your leisure, or if you're feeling particularly active, dig into this one, because you'll begin to understand in a very intimate fashion policy versus rule of law, and why the two it's oil and water, but if you can't see one for the other, you might drown. Oh man, I think I might have lost Google out here, but in the meantime, in between time, he'll be back. All right, so are we all clear on those issues? Let me go ahead and go back to the notes real quick. Maybe in the meantime, while I get them back here, what I'll do is go further into these notes here. So, matter of fact, I got one more thing I need y'all to look into. So I'm gonna go ahead and you know me, I'm a very information book oriented individual. So something y'all need to understand is the concept of statutory law. So let's go ahead and get you a definition. Hey, cough up a couple hundred and get you one of these bad boys. You're gonna need it. It's for your own protection. But in the meantime, a couple pages out here. Statutory. No, that's stock. Okay, hold up. Oh, I didn't go far enough. There we go. So we almost there. Statutory. I found. There we go. Statutory law. Very, very important definition for you. Please take this in with the full breadth of your intelligence and cognizance. Statutory law. The body of law derived from statutes rather than from constitutions or judicial decisions. What kind of law is able to subvert the Constitution? I mean, that's like some sort of Chinese riddle type stuff. There is no law that subverts the Constitution. The Constitution goes before, that's superior. Everything that falls underneath is inferior. So this is law. Everything underneath that, policy. All that stuff, once you hit the Constitution, you done messed up. You can't break that seal. There's nothing higher. That's why I gotta appreciate this dude Wingate for going to the whole federal, like he taking it to the federal level. I gotta commemorate that dude, because this is what more people need to do with their matters of law. See, and I'll even say matters of law and legality to give you an umbrella for you to fully realize your potential in a court of law. So if that's what it takes, that's what you got to do. You got to understand that federal is the highest level of supremacy in the realm of law. And once you understand that, what you can use to your advantage is the idea that the Constitution protects your, as we've stated earlier and many times before, your God-given rights. So, I think I got a message. Okay. Okay. Real quick. Cool. So I'm gonna keep running with it. All right, let me see what we got. Google's trying to figure out the tech issues. All right, so what else do we have to cover today? We got citizen. Ooh. So what you need to understand if you deal with citizenship is the idea that you're claiming to be subject to something, right? You're claiming to be subject to some sort of rule. And we've gone through this time and again, but really quick, since I'm here, you know the type of guy I am. I'm background and reference. So you already know. I'm giving it to you plain. So let's get into the term of subject, because you need to understand you need to understand the positions you take up when you use certain verbiage to denote your level of existence within the law. And then once you really take in what it is we're discussing here, you'll say to yourself, oh man, it's that serious. Like if I say this, if they ask me if I'm this or that, they'll be like, are you a US citizen? US citizen is very specific. It's very specific. And you're never really trained to be able to claim your full not personhood. You're never able to claim your full natural manhood or humanity as a man or woman. They will present you as a citizen to the court, basically, to put, like we were talking about, the Constitution being the highest, basically to keep you under the seal, because the Constitution is a seal. If you can bring your personhood, because the Constitution guarantees your rights, so the Constitution is everything under, you're actually above if you're a man or woman. But if you don't know how to establish that for the court to recognize, then you're underneath. And now they can hit you with policy day in, day out, time and again. So I'm sorry, I got a little background. I got a little railroaded. Let me get you back to subject. So subsequent subrogation. Oh, we talked about subrogation. Let's keep going. That's my jam right there. It challenges. All right, so subjection is its own thing. Matter of fact, I'm about to read you both, because subject is very what's the word I'm looking for? It's short. It's a short definition. And here we go. Subject, noun. One who owes allegiance to a sovereign and is governed by that sovereign's law. Which is funny, because I just had a discussion yesterday where I was outlining the fact that people are sovereign. The government can never be sovereign. But see, if you don't know as much, you're going to find yourself under the rulership of a false king. You're here. You're actually here. They want you here. And if you don't know how to be there, they got you. So let's continue. Let's look in. So I'm going to read this. This is going to come from John Salmon, and this is from the book Jurisprudence. I love that terminology as well. But anyways, here we go. And this is coming from 1947. Speaking generally, we may say that the term subject and citizen are synonymous. Subjects and citizens are alike. Those whose relation to the state is personal and not merely territorial, permanent and not merely temporary. This equivalent, however, is not absolute. For in the first place, the term subject is commonly limited to monarchical forms of government, kings and queens, while the term citizen is more specifically applicable to the case of republics. A British subject becomes by naturalization a citizen of the United States of America or of France. In the second place, the term citizen brings into prominence the rights and privileges of the status, rather than its correlative obligations, while the reverse is the case with the term subject. Finally, it is to be noted that the term subject is capable of a different and wider application, in which it includes all members of the body politic, whether they are citizens, i.e. subjects stricto sensu, or resident aliens. All such persons are subjects, all being subject to the power of the state and to its jurisdiction. We talked about this. Literal term of jurisdiction out of Latin is just speech, just or correct speech. And as owing to it, at least temporarily, fidelity and obedience. So how could you ever try to conflict with the government if you're claiming a status that says you're claiming fealty and loyalty, and obedience to the state? If you're obedient to the state, you have no business trying to combat them in a courtroom. You can't win. Take it back to the whiz. So anyways, with that, let's see. I'm actually interested. I think they're going to get more into it. Like, so they said subject, it says adjective referred to above, having relevance to the current discussion. The subject property was then sold to Smith. So subject actually devalues you to the what's the word I'm looking at? State. Like, you know how matter is either liquid, solid, or gas. So in the term of manhood, womanhood, once you claim personhood / citizenship, you become subject. You've now actually taken on the state of being property of the government. I mean, hey, like we always say, Google ain't say it, Bach ain't say it. Plain Sight did not say it. They said it. They said it. I just found it. So understand, overstand, and be so advised in what your rights are out here. So with that, let's look into the idea of the term subjugation, because all you're going to do, they're going to keep further outlining what this means. So subjugation. So this is what they're doing. The act of subjecting someone to something. Their subjection to torture was unconscionable. That's just like an example of using that in a sentence. The condition of a subject in a monarchy, i.e. ruled by a king. That's another way to, being subjugated. Let's see. The condition of a subject. Okay. The obligation surrounding such a person, not man, not woman, person. Corporations are legal persons. i.e. remember how they called people, or how they called people humans, and they denoted them as natural persons. They created this language to get you underneath the umbrella of subjugation. Corporations hence are artificial persons. We as humans are natural persons. Yep, there you go. If you're Google is on here, he's got something to say. He says, if you're property, you are a slave. So we're going to try to figure out this technical glitch. We got approximately 8 minutes in the interim. So let's see if that can happen. Let's continue into this definition of subjugation, because I like it. It helps you to understand what they're actually trying to put onto you. They're classifying you in a certain fashion. They're like I talked about states of matter. You have, manhood, womanhood, which is supreme. Underneath that, that's where the Constitution protects you, that manhood, womanhood. Personhood is all that procedural policy speech underneath. So let's get there. So further going. A subject, wherever residing, owes fidelity and obedience to the crown. In caps, they're talking about the British crown. While an alien may be released at will from all such ties to subjugation. Whoa, I just learned something there. All right, man. Hey, I'm not even going to get into the implications of that. I feel like I need Google to really dig in on that one. But I think if you're here with this and you're here right now, you might be feeling what just happened there. All right, so going forward. While a lien may be released at will from all such ties to subjugation. This is deep. The third definition. The condition of being subject, exposed, or liable. Liability. The defendant's subjugation to the plaintiff became clear shortly after the trial began. Also termed as liability susceptibility. So, you're giving away your right. It's just what hey man, do I gotta take y'all back to Hell versus Hinkle? We only say it every cast. It's voluntary, at your will. Man, one of these days I'm gonna look up will. I'm gonna look up will in the law dictionary. I know what it means. Like I've looked up the etymology. I think I had that conversation with y'all in the previous cast. But in the meantime, I'm just interested. Why not share some? Let's keep going here. What is? I mean, of course, we all know wills. Man, it's funny because if you know what a will means when someone passes away, you may understand where we're going here. So let's see. Oh, will. Oh, I love this one. Will, wish, desire, choice. We're in Maryland. Maryland is an at-will employment state, meaning what? They can hire you, they can fire you, if they so choose at any given moment. Should they desire, should they wish, their will, you're out of there. You're fired. You know, Vince McMahon or Spacely Sprockets. Jetson, you're fired. That's at will. They're their choice. They're choosing. They control it. You do not. So let's continue. I'm sorry. All right, I got into it. Wish, desire, choice. Hey, we got somebody else. Oh, no, it was Bach, but he's out. All right. I thought that was. Oh, there you go. There you go. Oh, man. I wish you hadn't missed that chunk. I was getting in. I was getting busy.
I believe you.
Hey, let me just take you from where I'm at. You know, it's funny. All right, so we were just talking about subjects. We got into the monarchs. We discussed, man and women are up here. Once you claim personhood, you're underneath the cap of the Constitution, which protects your actual rights. Yeah, you get into citizenship. Now you're at the subjugation of the government. You've claimed personhood. Personhood is here. The Constitution protects you here. You need to be a man or a woman to get the full protection of the Constitution. I think this little flow chart I got going on here is really helping.
Men and women are above the government. Citizenship and personhood is below the government. You are either the creator of the government or you are the servant of government.
We the people, the three first words of the thing.
Yes. We the people. And people is verse singular and plural. So that's what that goes into also.
Yeah,
make sure that's out there.
It's a denotation of status. It's status. There we go. I keep wanting to say personhood, but status is actually the term I need. Status, so yes. I'm glad I caught it. Hey, so let me get you this term will and see what you can do with it. I wish you could review. I think you caught some of what I was getting into.
I caught most of what you were saying. But
great. All right, so check this out. I just started defining the word will, and I did it to say, basically you understand, like when they say the will of the people. I mean, the will of the people is really everything. And if you use what we just already,
the will of the people. You got not the will of the citizens, the will of the people.
All right, you ready? Let's get in. This thing gets heavy. Will, noun, wish, desire, choice. And I was just talking about how Maryland's in an at-will employment state. They actually use the little, I guess, what do you call this thing? Let's use a vignette to describe a situation. And they said employment at will. So for people who understand those things, let's put it in that realm for you. All right, here's the second definition. The legal expression of an individual's wishes about the deposition of his or her property after death. Especially a document by which a person directs his or her estate, I made that one clear, to be distributed upon death. There was no mention of his estranged brother in the will, also termed testament, will and testament. The word will has two distinct meanings. The first and strict meaning is metaphysical and denotes the sum of what the tester's wishes or wills. And that's why I was using word and will. We did it with words the other day, but here it is in this context. Where was I? Okay. Denotes the sum in what the tester wishes or wills to happen on his death. The second and more common meaning is physical and denotes the document or documents in which the intention is expressed. So basically, the will is actually the power of your words. I didn't want to go all the way there, but if I want to just boil it.
What can be used as one of the powerful phrases that you can use is that is not my wish. When you're in court, you can use that is not my wish. Because just like you said, it's your will, the will of the people. The people are over the government. And if that is not your wish, as everyone is a sovereign, your wish is their command.
Exactly.
So,
Men and women,
yes. So
state
if you
things,
are
state entities.
anything they want to do and you that is not my wish, they will ask, well, what is your wish? And then you can
It
say
takes precedent.
it takes precedent. Um, and you see how will and testament is is what everything we go back to the God-given rights. So when you're talking about testament, you're also talking about that kind of book right there, because that is a testament. You have to. So those things are all interconnected, and the definition of the word.
So I just want to make one little further clarification for anyone who might be taking this in. Testament, all that biblical language is saying that the
God's will.
the status of man and woman is above all this mercantile, maritime legality, all that minefield of language. You could totally subvert it if you were just smart enough to know that your will exists long antecedent to the state being a thing. I mean, I feel like we only introduced the cast with that idea, but just to further bring it home for you.
Your subsidiary cannot be your superior.
There it is.
That's what it boils down to. The thing that is below you cannot be above you.
These ideas are literally in direct opposition. As above, so below. Be above.
So yeah, you can't to willfully take yourself out of the position of
Willfully.
Well, that is what it is. To willfully, when you do it, you willfully take yourself out of position of man or woman and place yourself under a subjective definition of citizenship. You become, as defined by the word, property of the government. And if you want to, like I said, if you want to be property of the government, go ahead and do it. No one's going to tell you any different. They'll actually be glad you want to be property of the government.
They'll encourage you.
Yes, they will encourage you to be property of the government. I, for one, do not at any point in time want to be anyone's property. But I guess that's only because I'm a man.
I feel bad. Hey, I don't mean to do this to you, but hey, yeah, do that thing. Do that thing. What's the thing? What did the judge say? Why are people in jail?
There is a old. It's old now. The judge's remarks as he stated that most people are in jail are there voluntarily.
Voluntarily, man. Hey, I'm about to read
that's their will
again. Don't
make
me
do their will. They want to be there. That is their will. If you don't want to be in jail, that is also your will. It's just depending upon what you want to be and what you want to do. I don't ever come to me and say I said anything. The law says this. The court says this. The government says this. All the people in Congress have said this.
That's funny. While you were out, I just said this.
I heard that part. Don't Google they say it, plain sight. No. We Google plain sight did not say this. Bach did not say this. The people who you believe or assume are your masters or that you are servants to, your servants that you are servants to, which is kind of a contradiction, oxymoron, but have said this. So if you want clarification and if you don't agree, I suggest you take it up with them because they will gladly advise you on what they said. And if you ask them about the cases that we cite, they will gladly say, yes, that's what it says. They won't tell you what it says. It just says, they will just say, yes, that's what it says. So they're not there to tell you how to be a man or woman. So
yeah, I mean, I think. All right, so here's my question for anyone who may be following this at home. Are you more certain, or are you more clarified on the idea of constitutionality by any stretch based on the hour of content that has just been delivered to you? I would only hope so.
I would say, do you want to be we the people, or do you want to be a subject of the government?
It's more succinct.
I am under the let's say conservative view of we the people.
The wildest thing for me though is, it's funny because like we always discuss the idea of conservatives.
It's an ideology. It's not a as they stated, or you stated previously. It's not a governmental group. It's not. We're not under any kind of Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, and
those are not ideologies. Those are actually political parties. And as you stated, political party. Those are political parties. I don't want to be a part of a political party.
And that's funny, man. And that's what I was just about to say. Because if you look at the GOP, what they've done is they've bastardized the idea of conservatism in the eyes of most people. And I say that to say, honestly, if melanated people like you and I were in their most natural state, we actually tend to be some of the most conservative minds in this nation. However, there've been a large, vast majority, a strong swath of them have been swept into the ideology of the Democratic Party because the GOP has made the idea of conservatism seem like their racist byproduct. So a lot of people have been scared off of,
Let's just put it the way it is. Republicans are Republicans. They are by themselves. Democrats are Democrats. They are by themselves. A conservative is an ideology, right?
There we go.
Conservatism is an ideology. Democrat or Republican, those are party. They're literally group thought. And if you do not think those ways, then you are outside that group. So you can be part of the group thought. You can be the notion of a political party, as you stated. And what was that? Citizen? A political party?
Oh yeah. Was that Citizen? I think that was Citizen.
You can be a political party. You can be a citizen, or you can be we the people, a man or woman, conservative.
Yo, that language is so toxic. I wish I had fully embraced and looked into these terminologies sooner, because man, they literally said you are a puppet, like outright.
Yeah, so you can be
citizenship makes you a puppet.
You can be part of a political party. You can be a servant of the government. You can be a subject of the government. You can be governmental property. You can denote a political party where you have to adhere to the group thought no matter what. Or you can be the people who created the United States in the first place. You can be the men and women who have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And that's where life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness comes into play, because those are things of men and women. Those are things that men and women have. The privileges that a government gives you are what citizens have.
So do you want rights and freedoms, or do you want citizen provided privileges?
Yes.
Privileges can be stripped. And honestly, if you were smart enough, you could even fight that underneath Hale versus Hinkle, but I wouldn't go that route, because I would just be a man or a woman and put all that underneath me in the first place. That's how I would go about it.
That's how I go about it every day. It's literally how the government has me denoted in their books, is I am not part of their system.
Man, we don't have to break out the Wayne Stump letter. I feel like we just broke that out last week, right?
Yeah, I'm not breaking out the Wayne Stump letter.
We don't have to do it. I just had to reference it.
Yeah, the paperwork's all there for you. It's your decision. The language is all there. All words matter. You either want to be under or you want to be over. Over
It's
under.
really that
Which one
simple.
you picking?
Really
You
that
picking the
simple.
over or you picking the under?
Hey, I'm gonna stand on top. I don't know. I like the view from up top.
I'm
Personally,
always gonna pick the over.
I don't need to be craning my neck up. My neck been strained enough. I ain't gonna be looking up all my life.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. Like I said, we do this because we love you. That's why we highlighted this one particular instance where a man stated in a federal government that his rights were violated, regardless of whether the state said the citizen had to do with their
X, Y, or
policies,
Z.
with their policies denoted, and using their statutes.
It's funny. They try to use their language to try to avoid how totally incorrect they were, while acknowledging that the man was in fact correct.
Yes.
Which is what they'll always do.
The state said we are control of citizens, and they are correct. And the federal government says this man is not under your control.
Yeah.
So that's that. Both of them are correct. So
that's what I think people need to embrace from this cast. It doesn't have to be a right versus wrong. Both aspects of this nation can be correct. The question is, what is supreme?
you can literally go into court, ask, who did I hurt? They'll look at you stupid and be like, are you such and such? That's neither here nor there. Who did I hurt?
Why am I even here? I don't understand the proceedings.
Nature and cause. What is nature and cause?
There we get nature. That's my favorite one. Nature and cause, yeah.
What is nature and cause? Why am I here? Who did I hurt?
Oh, is the nature is it commercial? I wasn't in the process of selling anything. I was just a man going about my business. I don't understand why I'm here.
They're using commercial code. That's all. If you're using commercial code, well, then I have no business being here. You have the wrong individual. I think I'll see myself out.
Facts.
So that's that.
Yeah, we can close the books on this one.
Yeah. Another one down. Another month into this, telling or trying to get people to understand what they are trying to understand. Don't stand under anything. Oh, stand over everything.
Yeah. Your neck hurts because you're looking at it from the wrong angle.
Yeah. So we do this, like I said, labor of love. Anything we stated, please Google it. It's in plain sight. And
hey, bring your questions to the floor. Like I keep stressing that.
And don't forget, all these things are posted on. You got it on the website, on
Facebook.
On Facebook, we have it on YouTube. We have it on EverythingDMV.
Did you know we're on Twitter?
We're on Twitter. We're everywhere. You can literally ask the questions.
Anywhere a podcast can be found.
Yes, and you can ask questions, and you can. And a lot of people, what they will do, a lot of people who are not in their right mind will come at this from the wrong angle, and they will try to tell that's not what the law says, and they will state statute. So
they're already
wrong. It is what it is, and they will make sure they use wrong terminology to try to insinuate that something is incorrect. If you're not using the right terms, you can't be correct in any way, fashion. So, whatever.
Statutes are verbose and indirect. Law is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple.
Law is simple. Statute, codes, policy, all that stuff is complicated because it's so convoluted and wordy. Law is simple.
This is not accidental. It's entirely intentional.
So do with the words and the definitions and your status as you want. You might not agree with my status. Hey, you're free to do that. This is America. The United States, excuse me. This is the United States. So, but my stance is my stance. My status is my status. Hate it or love it, still United States. Free to do it.
Hey, so at some point in the next cast, I just want to do it because I remember when you made that IG and I loved it because I was here when we did it. We literally did it here, and we was like, we went over color law. I mean, this is all stuff we've done before, but I want to do it in that same way in that synopsis when we literally went from term to term, and we made it plain. It was like a 1 minute IG clip, but it was just reading definitions.
Yeah,
I want to do that for the people once again. Not today.
Not today, but we'll do that again here. We'll do that here. Reading verbatim, word for word, how everything goes together. Nice. It was literally 1 minute. That's all it took. All right.
You can learn a lot in a little bit of time. All right, we're going to catch you on the next one.
Yeah, catch you on the flip side. We love you. Stay safe. Don't let policy dictate your life as a man or woman. And always get home safe.
Hidden Black's Law. We're here so you can overstand.
Yeah. All right. Peace out.
Peace.